Let's talk about the ant. Have you ever seen an ant colony up close? What did you think? It's a well-oiled machine. Each ant knows what it has to do. The workers are busy with foraging and defense. The larvae need care, and the queen is laying eggs for the continuation of the colony. But even though they are tiny, their bite can be painful. So which of these facts about ants did you already know? And which ones will surprise you? Ants are among the most common and easily encountered insects on the planet. Despite their tiny size, ants possess an extremely organized and structured society that amazes humans. They can be found almost everywhere in the world, except Antarctica. First, how many species of ants are there? Do you know how many species of ants exist on our planet? According to some sources, there are over 12,000 of them. They vary in size from a few millimeters to several centimeters. The smallest ant in the world is the aptly named Myrmica minuscula, which is only 0.7 millimeter long. The largest is the Dinoponera gigantea, which is 3.5 centimeters long. There are many species of ants, and scientists keep finding new ones. For example, in 2020 alone, 46 new species of ants were discovered in Australia. Number 2, biological characteristics. The first mention of ants in the media dates back to 2000 BC. Back then, people considered ants to be a symbol of strength and power. In the Middle Ages, ants were thought to be able to ward off evil spirits. Now we know that ants belong to the class Insecta. Their name comes from the Latin word formica, which means ant. Ants are part of a superfamily called Formicoidea, which also includes wasps and bees. These insects have two body parts, the torso and the head. Unlike most insects, ants don't have wings or the ability to fly, but they do have powerful jaws and limbs that allow them to carry objects much heavier than themselves. Did you know that the ability to lift heavy objects is called hyperphily? Hyperphily allows ants to move objects that weigh 50 times more than they do. The main weapon of ants is their sting. Some ants can even spray formic acid, which contains at least 40% formic acid. This acid is irritating to humans, but dangerous for other insects. Also, the smell of this acid repels termites, which are major competitors of ants. Thanks to their hard shell, ants can live in various climates around the world. Number 3, social structure of ants. When we hear the word ant, we usually imagine an anthill. But in fact, ants can make their homes anywhere, from under tree roots to inside of wooden houses. Moreover, not all ants live in colonies. For example, the so-called driver ants can number up to 5,000 individuals. Driver ants are known for their huge size and ferocious disposition. Their mandibles are capable of inflicting a painful bite on anyone who dares to disturb them. However, not all ants live in large colonies. Some species prefer to stick to themselves. These ants typically reside in small groups of up to several dozen individuals. Despite their solitary lifestyle, these ant species still exhibit social behavior. For example, they leave behind pheromone trails that help other ants navigate. The life of a typical ant colony member can be divided into 3 stages: larva, pupa, and adult. The egg-laying female is the mother of the colony. The males mate with her and die soon after. The females, in turn, become workers or new queens. Depending on the species, the life of a worker ant ranges from a few months to several years. Queens can live for 10 to 20 years. As a rule, one colony has only one queen. Worker ants are almost always females. They perform all the necessary work in the colony, collect food, take care of offspring, and defend their home. Male ants participate in mating, but otherwise do not play a significant role in the life of the colony. Interestingly, in some species of ants, males are polygamous, mating with several queens at once. In other species, males mate only with their own sister queens. Number 4, special abilities. Ants have amazing abilities, and one of them is their incredible strength. If you put an ant on a pencil, it will most likely be able to move it. the secret lies in the ratio between the weight of the insect and the load it can carry. Since ants are very light themselves, they can lift objects dozens of times heavier than them. But that's not all. Scientists believe that ants can be used to create unique robots. To prove this assumption, they created the first robot ant in 2020. Its creators at Newcastle University in the UK say that their invention is completely controlled by artificial intelligence and can be useful in exploring outer space. Ants communicate with each other in a special way using pheromones. Pheromones are chemicals released into the environment by certain organisms to influence the behavior of others. Each colony has its own unique blend of pheromones. This allows ants to distinguish their own from other ants. In addition to chemical signals, ants use visual and tactile cues to communicate. For example, ants involved in caring for the eggs or larvae release special substances that make the rest of the colony members understand what they need to do. Also, when attacked by an enemy, ants can warn each other by tapping with their legs or antennae. Number 5. Role in nature. We often forget that ants are living creatures just like us. They feel pain, fear, hunger, and thirst. Yes, ants have a lot in common with humans. What kind of insect wouldn't harm its own offspring for the sake of food? However, there are exceptions. Studies show that if an ant colony is under threat, the workers may kill the queen and stop producing new members. Is it scary? Let me share another interesting fact. Ants have natural enemies. These include birds, frogs, spiders, and even other insects. One of the coolest ant predators is the anteater. In Brazil, there's a legend that says an ant colony can unite and kill an anteater. However, despite this, ants remain one of the main components of nature's ecosystem. The thing is, ants are great at spreading seeds. While gathering food, they often pick up seeds, inadvertently planting them in new locations. In this way, ants contribute to the propagation of plants that produce nutritious fruits and grains, but sometimes they do more harm than good. For example, leafcutter ants are known to destroy crops. These ants cut leaves of plants and take them to their nests. They use the leaves as a nutrient-rich substrate for growing a special fungus. Fungus, in turn, serves as the main food for the ant larvae. In addition to destroying crops, leafcutter ants can also pose a serious threat to trees. When these ants settle on a tree, they begin to gnaw on its bark. As a result, the tree gets sick and may die. Number 6. Notable ant species. Ants come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and colors. The most beautiful species are considered to be the iridescent blue morpho ants. These insects got their name from the blue color of their wings, which resemble those of morpho butterflies. The iridescent blue morpho ants are found in the tropical forests of Central and South America. Another amazing species is the bullet ant, which is known for its incredibly painful sting. The pain caused by its sting is comparable to being shot at. Therefore, the bullet ant got its name. But perhaps the most unusual species of ants are the ones that grow fungus on their bodies. They are called zombifying ants, or zombielings. What makes them special is that they can control the behavior of their victims. Zombielings infect carpenter ants and take control of their minds. As a result, the infected ants behave like zombies, following their new fungal master's orders. Number 7. Ants and humans. Man has been waging war against ants for thousands of years. In Egypt, ancient people built special devices to protect their crops from voracious insects. In Europe, they fought the ants in the 17th century, believing that the insects brought the plague. And during World War II, soldiers on both sides suffered from fire ants. These aggressive insects are not afraid of people. They attack everyone, whether you're a soldier or a civilian. Fire ants came to the United States from South America. At first, the insects were admired because they were beautiful and exotic. However, soon it turned out that fire ants pose a serious threat. First, they destroy local species of ants, and secondly, they cause a lot of trouble to humans. In addition, fire ants are extremely venomous. Their sting is comparable to a bee sting, and they can even kill a person. That's why in the 60s, the US government decided to wage war on fire ants. The campaign was successful. By the early 90s, the number of fire ants had decreased significantly. However, the insects did not disappear completely. Today, fire ants continue to spread throughout the United States, and scientists predict that soon the insects will reach Canada. But even though ants can bring a lot of trouble, sometimes they can be helpful. For example, the leafcutter ant. These ants are grown specifically for use in organic farming. The fact is that the fungus grown by leafcutter ants is used as a natural fertilizer. Ants are among the most remarkable insects on our planet. Their ability to lift heavy objects, communicate using pheromones, and live in large colonies makes them truly unique. From the smallest ant, Myrmica minuscula, to the largest Dinoponera gigantea, each species is adapted to survive in its own habitat. Ants play an important role in the ecosystem, helping to spread seeds and control populations of other insects. While some ant species can be harmful to crops, others, such as leafcutter ants, can serve as a natural fertilizer for farms. Overall, ants are a fascinating and integral part of the natural world that we should appreciate and understand better.